400 horsepower and 186 miles per hour on the brochure, and somehow sales still slid 15%. Maybe, contrary to what Prince thinks, it is not that the car is not fast enough, it is that the customers are not. They keep waiting, staring at spec sheets like they are reading horoscopes, hoping a hotter version will magically appear in the showroom. Meanwhile, out in the real world, where allocations and manufacturers' suggested retail price markups mean nothing, a $5,500 Nissan 350Z just rolls into the lanes at Island Dragway in Great Meadows, New Jersey, and asks the only question that matters: who's staging first? That is the Z's gift. It is allergic to excuses. It does not argue over dealer markups or pretend to be rare. It is cheap, it is loud, and it is always in a hurry. The burnout box is its therapy session, and the quarter mile is its confessional. Warranty already buried, pride replaceable, parts cheaper than dinner for two at Olive Garden. This is not about brochures, it is about bravery per dollar, and the Z's exchange rate is unbeatable. And that is why it hurts when a car this cheap makes expensive metal look silly. The Z does not need 500 horsepower to win the night, it just needs a driver with enough nerve to trust that sticky 60-foot. Corvette guys quote trap speeds, Z guys count dollars per smile and wonder why anyone is still waiting for a dealer phone call. Because here is the truth: hunger is the only performance mod you cannot option, and the Z is starving. Z06, Z07 pack, 670 horsepower and a promise of mid-10s. The tree drops, the soundtrack screams, and the slip says 11.89 at 123. It beats the blue 350Z's 12.76 at 115, sure, but that is a whole lot of noise for a time most people expected 2/10 quicker. Ever had your stomach butterflies mugged in broad daylight? That. Round 2, the Z lines up again. No brochures, no whispers about allocation, just a cheap coupe with nothing to lose. The Corvette wins on paper, but the board shows what no one wanted to admit. The Z is hanging close enough to make a six-figure hero sweat. That is not supposed to happen. Expectations are a cruel crew chief, and tonight the cheap car is calling the shots. Because here is the secret the Corvette crowd hates to say out loud. If you promise mid-10s and hand out high 11s, suddenly the $5,500 Nissan looks like a math problem nobody wants to solve. Value does not care about brand prestige. Value just crosses beams and makes people uncomfortable. The Z's magic is not horsepower, it is shamelessness. It stages without fear, dumps the clutch like it is free, because it basically is, and treats broken parts like scratches on a skateboard. Warranty already forgotten. Pride refillable, replacement pieces cheaper than the Corvette's floor mats. Seatbelts first, ego later. The 350Z tightens the front belts with pretensioners and backs them off with force limiters, so in a crash you get held without getting crushed. The period correct Corvette, no pretensioners. Want to bounce off a door in a T-bone? The Z offered side impact airbags and available head airbags, working with beefy door beams. The Corvette of that era skipped side bags. And when the 350Z pops its smart airbags, they scale force based on speed and seat sensors. The Vet's bags, full send every time, cute for marketing, less cute for collarbones. Now the unsexy stuff that decides long-term happiness, the powertrain warranty. The 350Z's factory coverage ran 5 years, 600,000 miles. Translation: 2 extra years where catastrophic noises are someone else's problem. Corrosion. The Z's warranty didn't count miles. The Corvette's did. You can practically hear the rust laughing in salt states. Under the hood, Nissan went overhead cam, lighter valvetrain, cleaner breathing, better efficiency. Corvette's pushrods are old school, cool and torque rich, but it is hard to call more moving mass and less rev headroom progress. Add to that the Z's battery living under the seat, away from under hood heat. Heat murders batteries, moving at 20 to 30 degrees cooler buys years. The Vette keeps its battery in the sauna and wonders why it keeps needing a jump. Reliability receipts. J.D. Power's 3-year dependability surveys put Nissan above the industry average, ranked 15th. Chevrolet sat 17th with 5 more problems per 100 vehicles. Not a chasm, but enough to predict who spends more Saturdays diagnosing mystery lights. Even the Z's 20-gallon tank versus the Corvette's 18 means longer range, less prayer on fumes, more actually make it home. Control matters when you drive like you mean it. The 350Z's optional manually controlled automatic let you pick gears and hold them, complete with engine braking. The Corvette's auto of the day wouldn't give you full authority, and it only had 4 speeds to choose from. The Z's 5-speed auto delivered better acceleration spread and lower revs on the highway. It is the difference between I chose that downshift and the transmission panicked. Stopping is where fantasy meets physics. Bigger front rotors on the Z and a 27% advantage in swept area, 533 square inches versus 421, mean more pad on rotor and more heat capacity. And when panic hits, 350Z brake assist reads how fast and how hard you stomp the pedal, then piles on maximum braking right now. The Corvette of the era didn't offer brake assist. In an emergency, hesitation costs distance. The Z eliminates your hesitation for you. Wheels and suspension are where comfort and control get divorced or remarried. 350Z offered optional 18-inch wheels for brake cooling and tire footprint. The Vette topped out at 17s up front and 18s in back. More telling, the Z rides on coil springs all around. The Corvette stuck with transverse leaf springs, effective yes, but calling them refined is generous. Coils compress progressively, give you travel, resist bottoming, and do not make your chassis feel like it borrowed its hardware from a covered wagon. Numbers don't lie, and they're about to make some Corvette fans choke on their milkshakes. The 350Z track coupe pulled 0.88 G on the skid pad, while the Corvette coupe only managed 0.85. Road and track slalom. The Z-Track danced through at 67.3 miles per hour, while the Corvette hardtop tripped over its own feet at 62.3. Even the Z Touring Roadster slid through at 67.2, while the Corvette convertible was out there yawning at 61.5. That is not advertising fluff, that's cones and stopwatches saying, Z's got the moves. In real life, the story gets even funnier. The Z can whip a U-turn in 35.3 feet. The Corvette needs 40.2, and the Z06 takes a comedy show 42.3. Tight parking garages, the Z is a scalpel. The Corvette feels like a canoe trying to pivot in a kiddie pool. And the size difference, the Z is 10 inches shorter, which means you can parallel park without sweating like you're about to fail your driving test. Aerodynamics, the Z's headlights are smooth and wind-friendly. The Corvette's flip-up lamps look cool until they pop up and wreck your airflow like someone opened a parachute mid-drive. Drag is a tax, the Z pays less. Inside the cabin, it's even clearer who you'd rather live with. At idle, the Z Touring Roadster whispers at 47 decibels. The Corvette Z06, screaming 64, one's relaxing, the other is sound checking for a rock concert. Z also thought about normal life. Power windows you can lock so kids don't play lane change roulette. One-touch switches for tolls, visors that actually block the sun, and heated seats in the Touring because frostbite is not a personality. Z06. It didn't even bother with automatic climate control. Hardcore track toy meet foggy glasses. Little details hit daily too. Cruise control on the steering wheel in the Z, the Corvette sticks it on a stock like it's an afterthought. Insurance, the Z won't make your agent cackle like a villain. Over 5 years, it's $700 to $1,500 cheaper to cover. That's a couple sets of tires or one gloriously bad turbo impulse buy. Crush's Corvettes isn't just about the quarter mile, it's about all the little wins that add up. Safer airbags if luck runs out, a longer warranty when the mechanical gods roll the dice. Easier to maintain, easier to live with, easier to daily. Bigger brakes that stop when that one dude definitely wasn't looking. A chassis that turns harder and slaloms faster without begging for three-point turns. Less noise when you want calm, more comfort when weather gets mean, and an insurance bill that doesn't look like a horror movie. Yes, you can drop more cash on a Corvette and feel like a hero on the right day. Or you can snag a 350Z for $5,500, rack up 100 small wins every day, and keep your money for the upgrades that really count when the lights go green. That's how an underdog hurts giants, not with one knockout, but with 100 quick jabs that land first. So what do you think? Does the 350Z punch above its weight, or is the Corvette still king? Drop your take in the comments, and don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more car battles.